what's up? Today's video is going to be my October wrap-up. I read a lot of good books. First of all, I need to mention the fact that I am in the middle of Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I am about 75% through. I'm just under 75% through. My cats are being weird over there. And I'm loving it so far. It's a reread. I'm listening to it for the first time though on audiobook. And in November, I really need to read Vicious, which I talked about in my TBR. But I really need to read this because our live show for this is November 17th at 1 p.m. PST, my channel for Sassy Book Club. So make sure to pick this up. We're also reading A Very Large Expansive Sea by Tahara Mafi for November. So make sure to pick that one up as well because we'll be live showing about that sometime at the beginning of December. As always, I was not actually as prepared as I wanted to be. Starting off with my stats as always, I had 7 books on my TBR and I ended up reading 5 of those, but in total I read 8 books. This month I read 1 adult novel, 5 young adult novels, and 1 middle grade. I read 1 contemporary, 4 fantasy, 1 sci-fi, and 1 paranormal. And I read 1 graphic novel, 3 audiobooks, and 3 physical books. I also read 4 5-stars, 3 4-stars, 1 3-star, and 1 2-star book this month. In total, I read 2,697 pages, which doesn't include any of Vicious, even though I'm 3/4 of the way through because I didn't do any of that math, and it'll be included in my November. Whoops. Those are my stats for the month. I suck at this. So starting off with my 2-star book, I read The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, which is book 2 in the Raven cycle, which follows a girl named Blue and a set of friends who are all boys called the Aglian Boys. There's a bunch of them. And then Blue also has a set of family and friends who all live in her house, who are all women who are all clairvoyant. And Blue is not clairvoyant herself, but she does make their clairvoyance stronger when she's around. And Gansey is looking for a ley line to wake the Welsh king so that he can have a wish. Blue also has always been told through her clairvoyant family members and friends that if she kisses her true love, they will die. The first book I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Reading the second one, I was a little disappointed, but I think that it might have been mostly due to listening to it, although it was just really weird. I honestly, did I actually read the book? We did a live show for The Dream Thieves, so if you've read it, or you don't care about being spoiled for anything, we read The Raven Boys and there's a live show on that on my channel, and we also read The Dream Thieves and did a live show on Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads channel, which I'll link up in the cards here. So you can check those out if you want. I feel like I didn't even read The Raven Boys though. I have no recollection of understanding what the hell happened. It was just so weird. I think the first book went from being yeah, there's some weird elements and some strange paranormal stuff, but overall it was a contemporary novel, to going into The Dream Thieves and being fuck everything that exists in life. And I just was thrown into it not expecting it because I like books that are not real, but it was weird and I didn't love it, but I will be continuing with the series. Okay, the next book I have to talk about is my 1 3-star book, which was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddix. And this book is a young adult novel about a boy with autism who stumbles upon this dead dog who's been stabbed in the chest with a garden fork, and he happens upon it and he decides that he's going to write a book. So it's told as if he's writing the book at 14 with autism, and he decides that he's gonna write a murder mystery about this dog. And then within it, obviously you get more about his life and stuff. It was very interesting to have this autistic side of something I've never seen before. From what I've heard, it is very authentic and has great rep, and that wasn't what I didn't like about it, but I just found the story to be unsurprising in any way. The ending of this murder mystery of this dog was in no way surprising to me. There was one event or twist that happened that I was surprised by, but not enough to make it a good enough story for me to give more than a 3. It was good. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't anywhere near like great or amazing. 3 out of 5 stars for that one. The next book I want to talk about was my first 4-star book, and it was This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is the sequel to These Broken Stars, and each book follows a different set of characters, but they're all intertwined in the same universe, and the other characters do come into play. They're just not the leads anymore. Our first book follows this guy who is young, and he was promoted really quick in the military, and this is a sci-fi, so they are in space. There's a girl named Lilac in that story who is like the heir to this giant company, and she's kind of like this vapid airhead, and the two of them get stranded on a world that seems to have been terraformed, but there are no people on it. And so that's basically where this whole story starts. And so this is getting more deep into the, you know, corruption and stuff of different entities that I don't want to get into because obviously this is the sequel, but it was good. I listened to it on audiobook. I really love the audiobooks. They're really well made. And I will definitely be continuing with the 3rd book on audio this month, but it's not perfect, but I do really like it. It's definitely a romance, both of them, and I would assume the 3rd one is too. This is definitely a romance sci-fi, so if you liked Illuminae but you were annoyed by any of the romance in that, definitely this is not for you, because this is like over-the-top romance. My next 4 out of 5 star book was City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, and this was my middle grade book. It was so cute, adorable. I don't read a lot of middle grade, so I did find that the story was kind of simple for me. This follows a girl named Cassidy who has a near-death experience a few years before, and she woke up being kind of tied to the realm of the ghosts, and so she can go back and forth between the human world and the ghost world. And her parents also happen to be 2 people who write books about ghosts, and they get to start this new TV show where they're going to go around looking at different haunted places. And so they end up in Edinburgh, and she has this experience there, which is what the book is about. She also has a best friend who's a ghost, and it was adorable. Like I said, we will be live showing about this coming up in November. I believe we'll be live showing about it November 9th for the Biblio Book Club Book of the Month. It'll be on the Bibliothon channel. I'll link everything down below. I'm not 100% sure if I will be at that live show, but I am planning on it tentatively. Moving into my 5 out of 5 star reads of the month. The first one that I want to talk about is a graphic novel, and it is Saga Volume 7. I did have a physical copy of this, but it was from the library, so I've had to give it back. But this is Volume 7 of the series called Saga. If you haven't heard about this, you're probably new to BookTube because everybody talks about this, but it is a sci-fi. It is an adult sci-fi. There's a lot of sex involved, there's a lot of blood involved, there's lots of nudity. It's crazy. But the whole series basically follows, it's narrated by the daughter of this woman and man who are from 2 different species who have been at war with each other for years, and both sides of their governments are out to get their family because they're trying to get rid of the daughter who proves that these 2 species can live in harmony. And that's essentially what the whole story is. It's once again narrated by the daughter, which I find really interesting. It was really amazing. I can't really talk about what this particular one was about because it's Volume 7, but so good. The next 5 out of 5 star book I read was actually a novella, and it is the novella called Night of Cake and Puppets by Laini Taylor, and it follows our main character from Daughter of Smoke and Bones, her best friend, and it follows her trying to get the guy that she likes to notice her, and it was everything I didn't know I needed in my life. Susanna is so snarky and cute. The love interest is like adorable and like too nice. It was so cute. I listened to it on audiobook as I did for the entire Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I highly recommend the audiobooks of the entire series, and it gave me warm and fuzzies. Okay, my last 2 books are hardcore, hitting me in the feels because one of them is the end of a duology that I wasn't ready to be done with, and one of them we have to wait for the next book for another year, and I wasn't ready for that either. And so I'm gonna talk about God's Grave by J. Kristoff first. 5 out of 5 stars to this. This is the sequel to Nevernight by J. Kristoff. Nevernight follows a girl named Mia who, when she was young, her family was killed by the government because they claimed they were traitors, and so she is out for revenge, and she decides that the best way to do that is to go to the Red Church, which is the Church of Assassins, become an assassin so that she can kill the people who killed her parents. And this is the following book, and this book was way different than the first one. It definitely had, you know how like a lot of sequels will do the thing where they kind of just like have a thing that's mostly not related to the main arc of the story that you're actually reading, but it's like really entertaining. This did that. It did it well, but it did that. It has this big game aspect of it, which was so cool to read, but it had nothing to do with most of the plot. Like it was relative, like vaguely related, but not all the way. So yeah, there are definitely some critiques, but I can't help but love Mia and just love everything. I also did not find the love interest or that whole thing to be completely believable, but like again, still 5 out of 5 stars because I was so entertained. Like Mia is just amazing. I love how J. Kristoff creates these like, they're almost human, but they're not. I also didn't expect we got some really interesting like beings, like beasts type things in this book that I didn't realize there was gonna be more. It just feels really real, so then sometimes you forget that there are fantastical elements to the story, if you know what I mean. And yeah, really good. Read the series. It's really bloody, so if you're not into like blood and gore, maybe skip it, but it was good. And the last book that I have here, I just finished a few days ago. My heart hurts because it's over, but it is. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This is also a sequel to Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. That book is hard to explain. This book is harder to explain, but this one follows Laszlo Strange, who is an orphan, and he's kind of like bottom of the totem pole in the like group or whatever in the city, and he's been obsessed with this city called Weep. And when he was a kid, he used to pretend to be the soldiers from that city, and then one day while he's playing the city that's called something different than Weep, the city disappears from his mind and the name is replaced with the word Weep, and nobody can remember the name. And so then after that he becomes even more obsessed with it, and he just studies the city that nobody has ever been to and all this stuff. Half people don't even believe that it's actually a city, that it's just a myth and all this stuff, and things happen. And this book, things happen. There's magic and amazing, and just read it. I also did not know that Laini Taylor did a thing with this book that attaches it to another book, and I wasn't ready, and I need everyone to show up now in one place. I need it. I need that to happen. There was a moment. You guys, did you catch the moment if you've read everything by Laini Taylor? Did you catch it? Ow. Okay, I don't even know what to say about this one because it's like so good. And now I just like really want to reread them, but I just read them both. I just reread Strange the Dreamer, but like, can I just read them again? Those were the books that I read in the month of October. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I make videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so you can see me very soon with a new one. This month we are doing Femme Fatale Readathon. I am hosting the event, so you will be seeing challenges and such like that related to that very soon. And there's also another announcement coming about a different readathon that I get to participate in, so you'll be seeing an unboxing really soon for that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye! I wish I could